In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to your Monday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. We are live here on this Monday, beautiful Monday in East Memphis. I got my guy Drew Gann on location, new location, same location, on the show with us today. What's up, Drew? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Glad to be back in a normal routine. I am upstairs in the living room. Listen, I've been trying to workshop some new ideas for the show. This is not an end game by any means, and also the now 1 week old baby Josie is downstairs. I didn't want to wake her, so last minute kind of shuffle, and my apologies that we're just a couple minutes late getting started as I decided to pivot. And so, hey, we're here. Glad to be here.
Yeah. That's it. We make it happen, much like yesterday on the post-game bounce. We're just trying to figure this thing out as life with a baby does change everything, as Drew just profoundly said. I did get the privilege of meeting Miss Josie this weekend, which we'll talk about more here in just a few minutes. But we got a lot to talk about, Drew. We had some Memphis Grizzlies games, drama-less, all kinds of stuff over the weekend. And then we got a college football game to get to tonight. But if you're a fan of the show and you've been around for a while, you know that we never start with sports unless we absolutely have to. We always start with some buffoonery, and so this Monday is no different with everybody's favorite segment.
That's right. It is the Monday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show, and like every single Monday, we start with our best and beef of the week. That's where me and Rusty, friends for over a decade, just catch up on what has happened over a long weekend, or in this case, a week and a half, basically, since we've done a show. We, for your benefit, people, we consolidate them down just to 2 bullet points, because this could take all day. We consolidate down to 2 bullet points, our best of the week and our biggest beef of the week. You could tell I'm a little rusty. So, Rusty, tell us about a sponsor and give me the best thing that happened to you this weekend.
Yeah, so this segment is brought to you proudly, as always, by Donna's Italian Beef, 509 Constitution Drive in Iuka, Mississippi. Jim and the gang will take great care if you go in there for the best sack lunch. Head to Pickwick. Breakfast spot, tenderloin biscuit hits the spot before you have a great late day with your family. If you're local, make sure you go check them out. They have burger specials every single day. And Jim and the gang will take, like I said, great care of you. Still waiting on somebody. You snap a picture of our business card on the corkboard. Your lunch is on me. Hit me up on that. But the best thing that happened to me this weekend was I got to meet my newest niece yesterday, Miss Josie again. As soon as I got there, got in my arms, we hung out for most of the Grizzlies game before we had some lunch, with the family. And it was just a great all-around time hanging out with Drew and the Gann clan. Felt like there was 50 kids running around there, but I think it was only 5. But I had an awesome time hanging out with them yesterday, watching the Grizzlies get a big dub, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And I believe we are coffee cup twins today as I picked up my Christmas present from the Ganns. It is the $2. Shout out Wayno, courtesy of Wayno's sketch drawing of us.
If you show yourself, I'll show myself, and everybody can see the whole mug.
Oh, it's perfect. So, there you go.
So, buddy, I'm flattered. I made the best of the week. And I know it wasn't me, but it was my house in which I paid for. So, that was a fun day. And I can guarantee you there were only 4 kids running around, as the 5th one is just here so she doesn't get fined, to channel Marshawn Lynch. And I almost said Marshawn Brooks as a blast from the past. Nobody thought about Marshawn Brooks in a long time. But listen, I could make my best of the week the birth of my new daughter. It was great. It is a top 5 experience of my life for sure. Mm-hmm. With the other 2 births, the stork dropping off what we call the twins, and Ole Miss winning a national championship. Somewhere in there, the most recent Sugar Bowl. They're all in my top 5. I'm not going to give you the order, okay? And I did get married one time, so maybe we have to make it a 6. But I'm going to go off script. I'm going to give you something a little different because we have talked about this a lot. Something that happened last week was quite possibly the funniest thing that happened in my family since we've had kids. And, kids just do crazy things. And my oldest daughter is 11 now, freshly 11, and she's getting into the makeup thing. So she's always at her little vanity, putting on makeup and doing the facial washes and all this other kind of stuff, turning into just the girliest of girls, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But her little brother is always watching. And, you've not been a little brother. You don't have any sisters. I don't have older sisters, but I know people who have older sisters. And what typically happens is when that's your only friend, you just end up standing beside her, and then you become kind of this little proxy doll to try things on, to pick on, So he was in there, and they were curling eyelashes. She was curling her eyelashes using a little, looks like scissors, Oh, yeah. And so Braxton then gets talked into by my daughter and their cousin, my niece, into trying it. But then they walk out of the room, which was the problem, is they didn't help him through it. Well, problem number 1, son, no.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Problem number 2, if you're going to succumb to temptation, don't do it under supervision. And he then proceeded to pull out every eyelash he has on both eyes. And it is just the most hysterical thing in the world. Because you don't notice anybody's eyelashes. I believe men don't notice anybody's eyelashes. My wife is just oh, they have long eyelashes. Oh, those eyelashes come up a lot. Dudes don't ever notice them. I can promise you one thing. If one day I were to show up with no eyelashes, you would look at me and just be like, I don't know what it is, but something's
a little off. And I noticed that with BB yesterday. When he ran up to me, I'm like, you look different. You're taller, but you look different.
Yeah, something just a little off. And to add the cherry on top, because they're 11 and almost 9, they're into this roasting each other, which I'm a fan of.
All for
starters. Yeah.
All for.
But if you're going to roast each other, this is my own rule. You can't get your feelings hurt. Y'all are throwing insults back and forth at each other. That's all fun and games, as far as I'm concerned, for the most part. Nobody can get mad. Okay, that's the only rule I have when you roast each other. Nobody can get mad. Well, Chloe then started just roasting him over his eyelashes, and it was hilarious. And he was getting his feelings hurt. He was very upset. Not the fact that he didn't have eyelashes, but the fact that she was just incessantly roasting him over his lack of eyelashes. And I was just like, all right. If he's not going to participate in this, it can't be one-sided. Chloe, back off, okay? He feels bad enough. Only for then we're sitting here and we're just kind of hanging out, and Chloe's looking for something, and She's like, I can't find this. I think it was paper towels. I can't find the paper towels. So Braxton gets up. Who can't find. He couldn't find water if he fell out of a boat. He walks into the kitchen, immediately notices the paper towels, and proceeds to walk in here and tell Chloe's like, I think your eyelashes are getting in the way from you finding things. In which, buddy, let me tell you, I hit the floor. It's the single funniest thing any kid of mine has ever said. I lost it. Well timed, well placed, as even
Perfectly
killed.
executed.
I mean, the perfect delivery. He didn't laugh his way through it. Just matter of factly, I think your eyelashes are getting in the way of you finding stuff. And then Daddy hit the floor. I just lost it.
My God,
That's my best.
Gangster response right there. Just absolutely, just cold. Just like, guess your eyelashes are getting in the way.
Yeah. Oh, I lost it. All right, what goes up must come down, though. What's the worst thing that happened to you this week?
I mean, honestly, it's been a week full of bests, a lot of good time with Maggie and all this kind of stuff, but more details to come. Just kind of surface level. I hate moving. I hate packing and moving, and I've gotten rid of a ton of stuff. As you can see, this room is starting to kind of pale down. There's not going to be a lot left, but just the process and the act of moving is just so annoying. Just having to constantly pick up and pack and throw this in a box. And just when you think you get a room done, you open a drawer and it's like, crap, there's more stuff in there. And so moving could quite possibly be the worst thing on this planet.
Yes.
And I'm in the middle of it and I'm tired of it already, but it's coming to an end. I got 2 weeks left and hopefully by the end of this weekend, I'll be done.
You know, what's funny is like, much like our eyebrow conversation, I was like, something in your background is different. Because something's missing, and I now realize that your bookshelf is gone.
It's gone.
But if for somebody who hasn't ever watched before, you would have thought you strategically placed wall ornaments to entrap your head,
just like frame me here, right?
Just frame your head because it's like, oh, what? You know, Rusty, he just wants you to see everything. He doesn't want his big old head to block anything. So
it's a big old melon.
You just encase yourself in wall ornaments.
Yeah. And King Mink's here, like, I hate moving. I'll pay someone to move me because I'm at the age, like, when we were in our 20s, you could offer beer and pizza, and you'd have a dozen guys show up.
Yeah, I showed up and helped you move a couple of times.
You have, multiple times. And I'm almost 40. It's going to take a lot more than beer and pizza. You know, probably like go ahead and schedule some orthopedic appointments for my friends should they come help me move. That's why I'm getting rid of absolutely everything that I can. And
steak and whiskey.
That's it. We're in a different class here. But yeah, so I'm trying to get all of it gone. But
you know,
what's
I told my wife. Oh yeah. Okay. Real quick, I told my wife when we moved into this house, I was like, this is it. Like, we will pay somebody to move from now on. Listen, I'm not going to pretend to have a single beef. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I was telling you yesterday, we have been absolutely spoiled since coming home with this baby. Like, we're the one with a new baby here. We should be the one that's, like, grateful and happy and, you know, nothing can get us down. And then, like, we haven't cooked or prepared a meal since we got home last Wednesday because just everybody around us, all our friends, our family, in-laws, outlaws, Rusty, has brought us food and just come to hang out. And so, like, listen, no complaints here in the slightest, except for maybe I had to go back to work today.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I guess when you've been off for a while, it is kind of a bummer going back to work. You know, I've picked up some weekend hours and some odd hours here and there at a local hospital, you know, just to supplement my real estate income. And I worked like a full 8-hour day last week. And I was telling Maggie after, I was like, man, I'm not used to that. Like, I've gotten spoiled with like working really hard for like 5-6 hours. And like, it's different doing real estate, driving around, knocking on doors, talking to people than it is moving patients and picking people up and taking folks in and out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole different ball game. I was tired. I'm going to get used to that all over again. Did it again on Saturday, and I was wiped Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I work in a job kind of like you where it's like, okay, I'm here, and then I drive there. And then if it's rainy outside, I'm in the office. If it's clear and pretty outside, I can go outside. Just my days look different every day. If I just had to, like, be on my feet, like working a 10-hour shift at the lumber yard or at the factory or whatever. Like, buddy, I don't know. Sometimes we forget how cushy we got it sometimes.
I mean, I've done manual labor in the past, working on various farms, working on our family farm. And, I thought there was a time in my life where I thought that's what I want to do. And then now that I'm on the other side of that, got through college and got a bit more of a inside job, I'm not mad. I'm certainly not upset.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's jobs like that are not jobs you can go away from and come back to. Like, you have to be born into it, and you love it, and you stay there, and you don't ever even tempt on trying to find anything easy, or else you will never go back.
My uncle has tried to leave the oil field multiple times on my mom's side, and he just always goes back to it because you can't beat the money. The hours are what they are. He's now in more like a supervisory role, so he's not having to like grind as much, but you just can't beat the pay, what you do, being on and off like they are. So, blue collar is something that gets in your blood and it sticks around. That's for sure.
Yep. So.
That's our buffoonery for today. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. We go live with some buffoonery first where we catch up. We talk about what we're eating. We give you a little therapy tips. We rank some stuff on Fridays. A lot of things coming up, so y'all definitely hang out with us. You're here in the comments. You're just now getting here. You timed that just right. If you're like user 12345 or whoever it was that told us to stick to sports and talk about Zach Edey, because guess what we're fixing to talk about? The Zach Edey-less Memphis Grizzlies.
This is the $2 Sports Show on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. We are proudly brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook that frames everything that we talk about in our show is through the eyes of a sports book, and we're glad to have FanDuel partner with us on that. And there's been, surprisingly, I've only done one show in the last, since Thursday 2 weeks ago. There's only been 2 games because we had a 4 days off on the way to Germany, then 3 days off, then London, then now we don't play again until Thursday, right? It's just like this 2-week period in which we're going to play two games.
Yeah, exactly. We play Wednesday night on the 21st against the Hawks as our next game. We'll get into those previous games, but we are also brought to you by the great folks at Grind City Brewing, your home for great venues. They booked, I was talking to Zach last week. I was there on Thursday for the post-game bounce of the Magic game in Berlin. They've got a wedding coming up. They're making great progress on the amphitheater. It's a great venue and a great event space should you want to host anything. And we are going to be hosting some Grizzlies watch parties coming up. The first one being next Friday when we play at New Orleans. Y'all definitely want to come out for that because Ja Morant is the mayor of New Orleans. The new Ja Morant that we saw this weekend is back to his old ways, including dominating, hopefully, the Pelicans on the 30th. We've got some coming up in February, and then March 31st we play at Detroit. All of these will be live at Grind City Brewing with beer specials. We've got some different events that we're going to be doing while we're there, games. We're going to be doing some fundraising for some very charitable causes. So y'all be on the lookout for more details. But put these on your calendar. The 30th, February 21st and 27th, and March 31st for some Memphis Grizzlies watch parties. Y'all definitely make sure y'all come hang out with us there.
And who knows, as you leave the screen up for a second, 2 teams of these 4 have been rumored in Ja Morant trades.
I mean,
you could watch Ja Morant play the Grizzlies for the first time ever. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully, Ja Morant has gotten it figured out and gotten his stuff together to where we won't have to worry about that. But I'm not so convinced, Drew. We did get a good win yesterday in London, as you see on our Beale Street heat check that we do this season. Every 10 games, we're looking at the record just so we kind of see how we're trending. It's easy to get lost in an 82-game season. You look at it at 10 bites at a time, you see kind of where we're at. 3-7 after a very promising 6-4 in that third iteration of our 10-game stretch. 3-7 on the last one. But the most important thing is we're now 1-0 in this new stretch, Drew, after getting a big win, 126-109, beat the Crumpets out of the Magic in London yesterday.
Yeah, listen, that was as fun of a win as the Grizzlies have had this year. And if you look back on what our peak moments are, I'm trying to remember. I have a hard time remembering exact games. I just remember feelings. And I remember, it was Philly that Ja went for almost 40
in the loss.
But it was a loss, because of the VJ Edgecombe shot. But that's when you feel the best. You feel the best coming out of this game, this second game against the Magic, feeling as good as you could possibly feel, except for the drama of it all. Listen, the team looked amazing. That Magic team is flawed, but really good. Really good.
Yeah.
And, they overcame a 20-point first half deficit to beat us in Germany, and then you just came out again with your hair on fire, just shooting fireballs for a half, and this time you just didn't let up. I don't think the margin got less than 17 or 18 in the second half. It just stayed between 17 and 20. The whole second half, it was a sleepy second half because of it. And John Morant was awesome. He had, 26, and he had a double-double. I mean,
24 and 13.
24 and 13. At one point in the first half, they said John Morant had scored or assisted on scored or assisted on 37 points, and I looked at the scoreboard, and that's how many points the Magic had. So John Morant has scored or assisted on as many points as the Magic had at that point, and he was just absolutely amazing. It was on the court, it was off the court in the post-game press conference, was off the court on the bench, celebrating, and then it was pre-game and post-game at press conferences and media availabilities where he said, I've got this logo on my back for a reason. I don't want to leave. And it's still sticky. There's still just this overwhelming sense of I better not get too excited. But if that wasn't there, you would think we would be talking about a run right now. Legitimately, if it wasn't for this Ja trade talk and all the drama around it, we would be talking about the Grizzlies being primed to make a run.
I mean, here's the thing. That Orlando team is talented, but they're not good. It's a weirdly constructed roster. They don't really Anthony Black's been good, but they don't have a true point guard. They don't have a true center. It's Anthony Black, Desmond Bain, and a bunch of forwards.
I'll push back on that a little bit, because you've got to tell me what the different levels are. That team is not bad.
No, they're not bad, but they're just not.
So
they're not good right now.
They're not great. They're good. They're not below the threshold to be a bad or horrible or deplorable. They are exactly good, one piece away from being really awesome.
Again, it's Anthony Black, Desmond Bain, and a bunch of forwards. If they had a true center, that team would be a lot better. But I'm not even going to talk about that. Yeah. The point being, if we had this John Morant all year long, we would have the Magic are 23-19. It's the second team this year, third team this year. We've beaten over 500. If we add John Morant, we would at least be 23-19, if not better, with that John Morant. That John Morant is the John Morant you don't trade. That John Morant is the John Morant you extend. That's the John Morant that leads you to the playoffs and a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, even with this roster being banged up like it is. We're going to talk about Ty Jerome in a minute. Zach Edey is coming back in 6 weeks, hopefully. But as constructed, there's no reason John Morant shouldn't be averaging 15 assists a night in this offense, just absolutely just decimating people. And that would be really good for John Morant and his body, the Memphis Grizzlies, because John Morant assisting and being more of that quarterback, as T.I. called him yesterday, is going to save him from as many bangs and beats and bumps as he gets in the post or in the paint. And I think that John Morant is the future of what his career could look like. But I'm like you, Drew, I'm cautiously optimistic because it's one instance. He shook his hips on Saturday. He had a good game on Sunday, and 90% of Grizzlies fans, all is forgiven. Everything's back. But it's like Kanye said, how you going to be mad on vacation? Yeah, they're going to have fun. Vibes are high. It's fun. You're playing in a very highlighted, spotlighted game with a ton of celebrities and fanfare and all this kind of stuff. But now we're back in Memphis. And I hope, clearly something was different, Drew, yesterday, whether it was a conversation with Zach Kleiman, whether it was Adam Silver coming down on T and Uncle Phil, whatever it was, something was different yesterday. I hope it continues, but I'm going to need to see some evidence before I'm all the way back in on John Morant, at least this iteration of John Morant, and not the moody, sulky John Morant that we often see.
Of course, you take everything with a grain of salt with Ja these days. You have no reason to be 100% bought in on the person of John Morant, and I think it's important to delineate between the two. I'm very frustrated with Ja the person. I am waiting with bated breath to see what it looks like Thursday when we go to Atlanta, and what's the conversation around. Does he back it up with another good performance? Does he seem engaged? Does all the little stuff that truly doesn't matter but is derailing this season? If those things are in check and he plays well, and then I'll just get just continue to kind of, like I said yesterday, kind of stack good days together, and that's when I'll get my hopes up in Ja the person, Ja the superstar. What I did flip on, and I've ridden this wave, I will forever be up and down on this. I just can't be sold one way or the other in regard to Ja the asset. Like, I cannot foresee myself ever being, we have to keep him, we have to trade him, like, and being unhappy if the other thing happens. Like, I just kind of ride the wave with this. And right now, and I said this last week when we were in the cellar, like, I don't want to trade him for pennies on the dollar. And now that he's playing good, it's like, okay, now I'm not really sure that I want to trade him for more. Like, it's just kind of weird. And I'm just kind of stuck with my thoughts being that the best case scenario for the Memphis Grizzlies organization in this time span is that Ja Morant is the best player on this court. And you've just kind of got to keep plodding away through therapy or whatever to try to inch your way and stack good days so that you can get the most out of Ja Morant, the person, so that the player excels.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Whether that's church, whether that's therapy, whether that's medication, whether that's yoga, Pilates, hot yoga, tea, I don't care. Get this man a mood stabilizing something to where we can get, even if it's just like if the this is like average Ja Morant, because we can get 40 and 18 from Ja Morant any given night. And that's why I was more frustrated on the post game bounce yesterday. Is like, this dude has been sitting over there on our bench, could have been doing this all year long, but instead choosing to be sulking and a malcontent because he's upset at TI or the front office or not building around him, or the Flying Fish downtown closed. I don't know, but something had him upset. But like, if this is the average Ja Morant and we got this at night in and night out, Drew, like, that's an all NBA type Ja Morant, and like probably fringe third team. And this team is a good team as constructed, but we're all like you and I have said, we will always go as Ja goes. And yesterday was a good Ja day, so it went really well. I'm curious what that's going to look like as we begin a 3-game home tilt on Wednesday against the Hawks.
What do you think is the possibility that this has all been a giant misunderstanding? Because that's what's coming out of the Ja camp, is that this is just – what we have here is a failure to communicate. Like, what are the odds that this is just blown out of proportion because two parties, one of which being the Grizzlies front office and the other of which Ja without an agent, has gotten just sideways, and this could have all been avoided because there's not the proper communication path that you're used to as a front office dealing with agents and not directly with players.
The more this is going on, the more I am convinced this was more a misunderstanding is maybe a good word. I think it's more of a wake-up call where Zach Kleiman was legitimately fielding trade calls and seeing what was available.
Right.
As
what
a
got
way
us to
of,
this point was a miscommunication.
Right, 100%. Fielded trade calls to show Ja Morant, this is what your trade value is. This is what you're worth right now. Nobody's going to give you this massive extension that you're looking for. They're wanting to trade Terry Rozier, who's likely never going to play again, and some type of Italian cheese with a couple of draft picks.
Yeah,
that from Miami, or like, are you going to Sacramento? Like, that's your choices, buddy. And I hope, and I think that this was more of, like I've said all along, maybe Zach Kleiman trying to shake Ja out of his funk and say, look, man, the best thing for both parties here is you here in Memphis, because obviously we're better with you. You have the best chance of getting extended, paid, and what you want is here in Memphis. And I'm going to push back on this, Kendarius. You're my guy. I think Ja Morant needs to do a better job of keeping in-house and not going out and sulking after T.I. calls him out at halftime of the Laker game. Or when things aren't going his way, he pouts in the corner and doesn't participate. Maybe that's the case. I think Memphis media has done a better job than the national media. National media has already had him shipped out for years. But I think Ja Morant needs to own up to some of this and keep the locker room stuff in the locker room. But
I push back. Hold on a second.
Yes.
I push back 100% on media having a responsibility to keep news quiet. Like, media, maybe the front office shouldn't leak it, But there is a protocol here, and it reaches a point, and it's leaked for a reason. It's because you're looking to trade, and you're looking for people to dance with. And Ja's kind of been the one to go off script here with the stuff, but I don't subscribe to, and maybe he didn't mean it this way. Kendarius is a friend of the show, but when he says I think Memphis media needs to do a better job of keeping in-house, I totally disagree on that. Media's job is to give the fans what they want. I mean, this is publicly traded, not in like an IPO form, but like it's a commodity that people purchase and spend their money on. Like, no, the public has a right to know, and if the media gets something, piece of information, it's their obligation to share it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But to button all that up, I think this is more of a wake-up call. Ja Morant said yesterday he's got a logo on his back, and that's where he wants to stay, and I believe that. I truly do. But like I said on Twitter yesterday, that's great. Finally, thank you for saying that, but now go prove it. You got a chance to play. We got 41 games left. We're at the dead even. We're 41 games in. You got 41 games left. Even if Ja Morant played 60%, 70% of those games, we're going to have a much better record than 18-23 in the back 41, Drew. And Ja Morant will get a good faith conversation about an extension this summer.
Yeah, I mean, so do you know off the top of your head how many games Ja has played?
So he has played 19.
So he's played 19 of 41. So we'll call that 48% of games. Just a tick under 50% of the games. So, yeah, there's no doubt about that. Listen, you're setting we've started moving goalposts and changing expectations. Like, if I want to buy in, if Ja wants a max contract, which is, I think, the start of this whole ordeal, is that they've given him kind of an ultimatum, a prove it kind of year here for Ja Morant in regards to the contract. He needs to play 90% of the games. Like, there is no 60%. 60% is injury prone. 60% is unreliable. 70% even.
I'm just trying to keep expectations low here, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. And I get what you're saying. If he plays 70% of the games, we should get over 500. I agree.
Yeah.
But in regards to a contract, he needs to play 90% of these games.
I don't disagree. Yeah. Shout out to Anthony Sane. He's in the comments earlier. He'll be going live at 1 o'clock. He tweeted out this morning. He's going to talk more about this on his show. To make sure you tune in at 1 o'clock to the Anthony Sane show with Kenny. But in the 7 games since Ja Morant came back from the initial calf injury he suffered on November 15th, he has shot 9 of 21 from 3, which is 42.8%. Much better than how he started the season, basically shooting 13%. He has never taken more than 5 and never been worse than 0-2. So shout out to Ja for showing some signs of growth there. We're like, hey, my shot's not falling. I'm 0-2. I'm not shooting anymore. Yesterday, I hope is like he went 3 of 4, but I hope that's not going to turn that tide to where he thinks he's a Ty Jerome, who we're about to talk about. But I am seeing some growth, and I hope that continues.
And you can just tell a difference in the way the shot looks. I mean, we were sitting here. It was before you got over. Me and my son were sitting on the couch watching it. He made the first through, and I was like, well, that thing had some arc to it. Like, you could tell when Ja's shooting well and when he's going, because it's just as simple as seeing the trajectory of the shot. Everybody knows when you shoot basketball, when you learn as a kid, it's all about arc. You want to make the rim as big as possible, and you make it bigger the higher you shoot it. That's just math, trigonometry, algebra. Like, that's math. And when Ja struggles, he's shooting it's like he's shooting targets out there.
Yeah,
like he's trying to hit the front of the rim. And so you just saw a shot that looked good. Look, the mechanics, forget the mechanics. Mechanics may be the most overrated thing in basketball, because you see people like Jaren Jackson Jr. never fix his shot and do all right.
He just goes in.
Shoot, if you do anything as repetitive as they shoot baskets, you can make any horrible looking shot go in. But you've got to have some lift to it, and it just looked better.
Exactly. He is jumping higher. Ball's coming out at a higher release point. It just looked so much better yesterday.
And it's not bad shots. It's not bad shots either.
He's taking much better. Good looks late in the shot clock. I didn't see any threes yesterday within the first 3 or 4 seconds of the shot clock. He's allowing the offense to kind of move around. Then when he got an open look, he made it. Brought out the bazooka, which I was also a big fan of. Love what I saw from Ja yesterday. He had fun yesterday, and that's a happy Ja is a scary Ja. That was the first, in my opinion, happy Ja we've seen this year.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm sure Adam Silver was in London yesterday, watched this game. We were overseas, an international product. I'm surprised they didn't court-martial Ja for the bazooka. I mean, what happened to that whole outrage that we went through last year where it was like, oh, Ja Morant needs to quit the finger guns. Mm-hmm. Like, and he just went to England, and it may be just a show of force, just to remind the English what we can do. But they let Ja Morant do a bazooka yesterday, and nobody said a word about it. It's like maybe last year it wasn't that big of a deal then either.
Yeah, and Edward, I don't know that his calf stopped him from elevating on his jump shot. I think maybe that was part of it. I think a lot of Ja's issues are like right here between his ears. I mean, truly. And this shot looks different than what we saw last year, too. Like, this is the best Ja Morant jumper I've seen, three-point shot I've seen, Drew, I think, in his career. Wayno, thanks for waking up and finally getting here. That's what we've been talking about. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I ain't ready to be all in yet. Like I said, he put on a little pretty dress and shook his hips on Saturday and had a good game on Sunday. But I'm not ready to be all the way back in just yet.
Yeah.
But somebody I am ready to have all the way back in, Drew. And we can, I mean, Ja Morant will still come up more, I'm sure. But I'm ready for Ty Jerome, man. We're in the 9th week of his 6 to 9 week window as we're getting ready for him to come back. The update is that we are in the 9th week of his 6 to 9 week return date. Hopefully sometime in this homestand.
No update. Yeah.
That's the update. Yeah, like the update is that. What makes me optimistic is that when they did that big injury dump last week where they updated
Edie,
Brandon Clark, and who was it?
Scottie
Pippen Jr., nothing was mentioned about Ty Jerome. To me, that's a no news is good news situation. Hopefully, maybe this weekend we'll get a doubtful, maybe a questionable, since we're now doing probable and doubtful for now, maybe. Hopefully we'll get one of those. I'd love to get a probable or a questionable for this weekend.
Yeah.
But I think Ty Jerome can fix a lot of issues for this team with spacing, with the ability to score, and giving us, like, we may go from no point guards to 2 point guards if Ja Morant continues to play like this and Ty Jerome finally gets healthy.
Well, I think it was in the in some of the clips that I don't know if it was Grind City Media on site or ESPN or whoever was out there covering the international games. You saw some clips from practice. That's where we got the John Benz video from.
Yeah.
But in some of those videos, you saw Ty Jerome out on the court working through offenses and stuff like that. And that's very, like, no sweat work. So, I mean, I'm sure he's been doing that for a little while. But he is on the court. It's not like he's in a boot or he's immobilized or anything. He's got to be progressing to the point to where, listen, we thought 4 to 6 weeks, and then it was like 6 to 9 weeks after that. So we're looking at, like, what's it been, 15 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
If my math is correct. I don't remember if we went through the whole 6 weeks before we got the update, but the whole season, halfway through the season. He's missed a half a season.
Yeah. And again, he's going to make this team better, much like Jock Landale has, man. If you still look at this team and think Jock Landale is a part of the issues with this team, go touch grass, man. We finally got him in the role that he should be. He should not be starting. I wasn't upset with Santi starting over him yesterday. Like, he shouldn't be starting because he thrives off the bench. Double-double for the big fella yesterday, just beaten to sleep a team who doesn't have any true centers, but beat him to sleep, man. 21 points, 8 boards, 6 of which were offensive in 23 minutes, almost a point a minute. You're not going to get a whole lot more efficient than that. 9 of 11 from the field, Drew. Jock Landale's, like, if the NBA was a real sport, Jock Landale would be in the conversation for most improved player just because of, I mean, Houston cut him, like, was awful and had shown nothing and is now proven to be a pivotal backup option for us on this team.
There is no situation in which a backup center is ever going to win a season-long award at the NBA.
Come on, man, get hyped for Jock
Nor
Landale.
should they. Nor should they. So, no offense, Wayno. Listen, I've always been on the Jock side here. Listen, he struggled mightily, and I was just kind of like, buddy, we thought he was supposed to be Zach Edey. Like, I don't know. Let's not throw too many stones at the guy that's supposed to be getting 12 minutes, and he's getting 30, okay?
Sure.
Like, I was never out. But he has even then been awesome, been absolutely incredible. I said on the post-game bounce yesterday that if you're going to play alongside the contract guys, the cornerstones, and you're going to be on the same court as Ja and Jaren and Sed, the guys that are supposed to be getting on the shots. Anybody who's playing with or alongside them, they need to shoot open shots, defend as well as they can, and create possessions. And what Jock Landale did yesterday was grab 8 offensive boards and 75% of those, 8 rebounds, and 75% of those 8 rebounds were offensive rebounds, creating shots and points on our end of the court. Like, you cannot shrug your shoulders at that. You cannot say that's a little thing. I know he's a backup, and we should, we're not going to hang his jersey in the rafters, and I'm not purchasing a 31 jersey. But he's been really, really good. When you have, it is the most critically hurt and damaged position group on our team, the Memphis Grizzlies. The center position is just a pile of bones and ligaments right now, and Jock Landale.
Yeah.
And he's been awesome.
And he's been awesome. He's been on a tear lately. I mean, again, 21 points. He had 16-9 last week, 13-10 against Oklahoma City, 13-10 against the Lakers. Like, if you can consistently get that kind of effort against some of the top-tier teams, like, Jock Landale's perfect in the role that he is. He's on a $2 million contract. You can't argue that that is one of the best contracts in the NBA based on his production.
Of course.
I hope that we can do enough, move some stuff this offseason, that Jock can be a part of our bench rotation. Next year, he's on a 1-year vet man. Maybe we can get him to stay. I like what he's done for us off the bench. And I think that role will continue, obviously, until Zach Edey gets back. And even after Zach Edey, he's the perfect like yin and yang with Zach Edey, where Zach Edey's going to beat you up in the post, dominate you in the paint. Jock Landale can help with floor spacing. Again, 1 of 2 from 3 yesterday. He can shoot the ball, defend at a decent level. But Jock Landale is like Brandon Clark in a way that he gets position, gets leverage, and just seems to be in the right place at the right time to make winning plays.
Yeah, I agree with almost all of that. So he's been absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And I think things are looking up for the Memphis Grizzlies. Over on FanDuel, if you want to make some future bets for the Memphis Grizzlies, FanDuel disagrees with what I'm saying. The over or win total has gone from 39.5 to start the season to 35. Now it's down to 34.5, with us going over at plus 106, under minus 130, meaning we're more likely to be under 34.5 wins, which again will put us probably firmly in the lottery conversation. And our play-in odds, we were at one point like the odds-on favorite at about minus 180. We're now at plus 240 to make the play-in. But I would say things are looking up if, and there's this massive caveat, asterisk, bold if, we get this Ja Morant going forward. I think we can hit the over and be in the play-in conversation, but that's going to require Ja Morant to play at least 70% of our final 41 games.
Listen, we've put ourselves collectively with the help of Ja Morant in a pretty precarious situation. We're currently 10th in the standings, which means we are holding the last play-in spot halfway through the season. And below us are the Clippers, who, don't look now, are surging. 8-2 in their last 10, won 5 in a row. They figured it out since Chris Paul was sent home.
Apparently was the problem.
Apparently he was. And so you're going to need to play at a really high rate and needs a little bit of help, because right above you are the Blazers, who are 8-2 in their last 10. They're 500 on the season. Above them is the Warriors, who's 7-3. The Suns are 6-4. All these teams above us are obviously good teams, and they're playing really good right now. And so you're sitting on the cut line, both in like the playoffs and like the teams that can actually make the playoff. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes there's more teams than our spots, and sometimes there's more spots than our teams. And this seems to be like the right cutoff here, because the Clippers and the Grizzlies are right there together, and nobody beneath them are going to compete.
That's it, man. You've just got to go take care of your business. Get Ja Morant to play. If we ask him to play, if he plays 70% of our final 41 games, that'll put him playing 28 games and 47 essentially on the season if he plays 70% of the rest of our game. That's still wild, which would be a career low for a non-injury shortened, suspension shortened season like he played in 23-24 when he only played 9 games. But like, that's what it's going to take. If we want to be competitive and be around these teams, it's going to take Ja Morant in his best effort, being Ja Morant, who we know Ja Morant can be.
And the thing is if you're buying the Pollyanna approach here, if you're buying the Mr. Positivity, you're just hoping for this all works out, then that scenario here is that Ja's been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And now Ja may be healthy. And if that is the case, then yeah, maybe you should. I tend to believe that it's hurt body and / feelings, that elongates some of these injuries. That's what I criticized him for last year. I think there's been a lot of that this year too.
Yeah.
And a suspension for a game. So if you're Mr. Grizzlies fan here that just hopes the best and is Mr. I love Ja Morant more than anything in the world, and I'm going to make excuses for Ja Morant, then you say, well, now he's healthy. And if that's the truth, then he should play a lot of games unless there's another injury.
Yeah, exactly. And so hopefully we'll see more point guard quarterback Ja Morant throwing out 13, 15 assists a night, keep himself healthy, and stay on the court. But, Drew, after this quick commercial break, it is time. The game, the college football national championship is here. I know. You're upset your Ole Miss Rebels didn't make it. But we've got a chance. Like, this will be Indiana's first chance at a national championship. Could be an interesting game. We're going to break it down, talk all about it with FanDuel odds right after this quick commercial break.
In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem.
But in answer to your question, the weed that I took from that source, familiar with Ja Morant's thinking, was that we included both the team and Ja collectively. I really do feel like some of this is silly for multiple reasons from an optics perspective. Obviously, there is a discord between powers that be on the Grizzlies side and the Morant side, and we can't ignore that. I think there needs to be some level of a reconciliation and a conversation with the front office. I think Ja's still young and doesn't realize the grass is not always green on the other side because he's only played with one professional NBA team. And what you're going to find is that when you go to other teams, there's a lot of things that teams are not going to put up with. Whether that is, hypothetically, the Miami Heat, whether that is the Milwaukee Bucks, whether that is the Toronto Raptors, and he has it good where he is.
Tune in to the Anthony Sain Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. My colleague is over there dealing with some kids and stuff going on. We appreciate y'all being back. If you're here, give us a thumbs up. It helps us more than you know. It shoots us up in the algorithm and gets more eyes on our network where we are a part of a huge talent pool. Also, subscribe, turn those notifications on, like my guy Andre and Wayno and King Meeks and Edward and Kendaris in the comments have all already done because they're here hanging out with us Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central. We are brought to you by FanDuel. Drew, as we start to make that transition tonight is the big game. Miami, Indiana, 6:30 for all the marbles in college football. Ole Miss played Miami. You've seen Miami up close and watched them. Do you think Miami has a chance, A, and B, what will it take for Miami to upset Indiana tonight?
I mean, yeah, they have a chance. Indiana looks inevitable. I've watched sports enough to know that nobody's inevitable. I cheer for two New York Giants teams because my favorite player was always Eli Manning growing up, one of which faced an undefeated New England Patriots team that felt inevitable, and it turned out the wrong way. Like, that's why they play the games, right? Yep. And so, yeah, of course Miami's got a chance, and I'll put it to you this way. Like, if Miami gets boat raced by Indiana, and Indiana actually shows to be inevitable, then as an Ole Miss fan, I'm going to be like, okay, like maybe it's best that you just end with a really competitive, awesome, classic game in which you come up on the losing side rather than just getting demolished in the championship game. You know, you would rather play, obviously, just to say that you played. But like, there's a case to be made there. If Miami holds serve, if Miami plays well, this is competitive late in the fourth quarter, it's because their defensive line are just difference makers. They're game wreckers. They get into your shorts, and not only that, they get in your head. They speed up Mendoza. They cause his internal clock just to tick a couple seconds faster than it should, and it gets everything off rhythm and discombobulated. And then they're just able to offensively hand the ball off to number 4 and ride him like a bell cow like they did, because we know that Carson Beck cannot win a game if you make him play the whole game the way that he played the last drive of the Fiesta Bowl against Ole Miss. You need him to go win a game late, not shoulder a game for a whole 60 minutes.
I mean, that's it. I agree. It's going to be pressure on the quarterback is really because we haven't really seen Fernando Mendoza under a ton of duress. He was sacked 22 times in 15 games. 1.5 sacks per game is what Indiana has been giving up. And Miami has the defensive line, the chops to go do that. Have a couple of future NFL players on that defensive line. Reuben Bain is likely a top 3 pick next year in this year's upcoming draft. But Indiana has really stepped up in these playoffs. Starting with the Big Ten championship game where they just choked the life out of Ohio State, carrying that momentum in just an efficient, just boat race of Alabama, systematically embarrassing Oregon. And I have not seen a whole lot that's going to deter me from thinking that Indiana is inevitable. Indiana has a bunch of seasoned players, a bunch of guys who know their role really well. They've been around. They've played a long time. Their offensive line is deeply experienced, maybe not together, but across college football. I joked this morning on the Daily Grind that it's a bunch like Miami has future defensive line or NFL players on their defensive line. Indiana's offensive line all has 401ks and a well-established pension plan because they've been around for so long. And that's going to be the crux of it. Oh, yeah. I thought Texas Tech had the best front 7 in college football until I watched Indiana a little bit closer. Their defensive line, offensive line, linebackers just play so downhill and efficient, much like Alabama used to do in 2009 and 12 and those early Nick Saban teams. The way I see Miami being able to beat Indiana is controlling the line of scrimmage, and I just told you why I don't think that's going to happen, and then running the football to take the pressure off of Carson Beck, because we've seen Carson Beck throw 5 picks this year against Louisville, and that ain't Louisville walking through the door. That's Indiana, who forces you to beat yourself. They're efficient. They don't make mistakes. The only way they're going to be able to do that is running the football, and Indiana is one of the top 5 rushing defenses in the country. It's going to be hard to get Mark Fletcher Jr. going downhill for Miami, but to me, that's really the only way they're going to be able to upset Indiana. Controlling the line of scrimmage, running the football, and keeping Fernando Mendoza on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a game control. That's their bread and butter. If you're Miami, that's how you win. It's by just making Indiana play your game. Ole Miss was one of the most prolific offenses in football. and Miami forced Ole Miss to play Miami's game there, and that's how Ole Miss struggled. I mean, I think I don't even remember what the final score was. Ole Miss scored like 24 points, and so you're just not going to win many games in which you score 24 points. I think that Indiana wins. I think Indiana covers. I think Indiana is the best story in football, and I think they come through and they win it here, and then they're going to reload next year and they're going to be back again because they're going to get the kid from TCU. I can't remember his name.
The quarterback,
the transfer portal quarterback that's coming in. And truth is, I don't really think personnel matters with Cignetti.
Yeah, I don't either. He's just all about business, focus, and going to go out and I think get a win tonight. I agree, which is why my Bucks best bet over on FanDuel. You can get a 30% profit boost right now on the college football championship game tonight. My 30% profit boosted best bet of the night. I'm taking Indiana to cover at 7.5. I'm taking Indiana over their 382.5 yards, total yards. I'm taking Indiana to score a touchdown on the first drive. And then Indiana's given up 78 or about 75 yards rushing per game. It's number 2 in the country. I'm going to take Miami on the under 106.5 yards rushing for a total of plus 919 over on FanDuel.
So if this bet hits, we can all go to bed halfway through the third quarter because it will be an absolute demolition of Miami if this bet hits.
Absolutely. I think the first drive for Oregon went so well last week. They gave them a pick 6 on the first play of the game. I think if Mendoza and the Indiana offense, whether they get it first or whatever, doesn't matter, and they just methodically march down the field and stuff it in from about the 2 or 3 yard line, getting that touchdown on that first drive, you can put it on your iPad and earn some credit with your significant other. Watch whatever they want to watch. Right. Have the game on the iPad just to keep up with it, because I just think that if they go and break Miami's will early, which they absolutely can, and hold them under 106 yards rushing, like you said, man, at halftime, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. It could be an HGTV night in the Gann house tonight. It could be a Paw Patrol night because the Grizzlies aren't on. If this game stinks, no Monday Night Football because the playoff games are all done. The divisional round is over. Mm-hmm. It could be an HGTV night.
It absolutely could. It could be a Parks and Rec night for me and Maggie as I'm introducing her to Parks and Rec, and we're introducing. We're like moving through season 2 or getting ready to head into season 3, and
you're at the good part now.
That's what I told her.
Season 1.
That's it. Yeah. No, we skipped season 1. We watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, all right, I'll fill you in on anything you need to know. And the only thing that
find the episode in which they introduce the characters of Ben White and
Chris Traeger.
Start there.
Yeah. So season 2 gets better as it goes. We're about to lose the character, which is long overdue.
Brandana quits.
Yeah, Brandana quits finally. We're getting there to that point where he leaves. But it may be a Parks and Rec night tonight if this goes kind of sideways.
Hey, real quick, we don't touch a lot of NFL. The game last night was incredible. A 10 out of 10, Chicago and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I found myself just rooting really hard for Chicago last night and feeling really bad. How was Luke this morning? Was he okay?
He was okay. He didn't want to talk about it. He needed some time to grieve. I think they're going to talk about it on Wednesday. But that pass by Caleb Williams where he ran back 25, 30 yards and threw a dot to Cole Kmet is one of the most impressive throws
like
I've ever seen.
The Isaiah Bond 4th and 37 or whatever it was. But, it was an incredible game last night. And then, man, I'm getting so bad with names.
John McDermott gets fired today. That's the 10th opening of 10th NFL head coaching opening.
That's a third.
That's come open. It's wild.
That's a third of the NFL. It's going to have new coaches next year. And if you're the Tennessee Titans, go get Doug McDermott. Right?
So
not Doug McDermott, Sean McDermott. That's
the number. My top 2 for the Tennessee Titans are McCarthy and McDermott. The Titans
have lost your freaking mind if you want Mike McCarthy.
I disagree.
That is so stupid.
It's better than Matt Nagy. It's better than Robert Saleh. It's like there's proof of concept there.
I agree there. No,
so those are our top 2. But listen, as the Tennessee Titans, we've missed out. Like it was the Athletic released an article that said nobody's wanting to come. Nobody wants to go there.
It's true.
McCarthy would be a massive upgrade, and I think there's still juice in the tank. Now, I think Sean McDermott might be like 1, and then McCarthy is 2. I just don't want Matt Nagy. I watched him with the Chicago Bears. They were fine, but there was nothing, like no umph there. I don't have, like, he's best friends with the GM. That would be a nepotism hire. I definitely don't want Salah. There was nothing about those New York Jets teams that he led that gave me any idea that he could lead an NFL
devil's
team.
Advocate, look at the Jets now. At least they had an amazing defense. They hired another defensive coordinator, and the defense went bad. Listen, I'm not a Titans fan, and I'm not really an expert in coaches in the NFL. But look at what has happened is the hotshot offensive coordinators almost have a really high hit rate, and the retreads never have a hit rate. Like, I would want no part of Mike McCarthy, nothing to do with Mike McCarthy. I would have honestly, we talked about this in the group chat. Kevin Stefanski took the Browns to the playoffs twice, and then he actively tanked his way out of a job purposefully, in my opinion, to get out of Cleveland.
Probably.
And there's a reason why he was the second coach hired, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he'll do well in Atlanta. There's proof of concept. There's a Super Bowl win. There's experience. Mike McCarthy.
It's going to be June when the Titans hire, because they are going to be they're going to just get whatever's left, and then at that point, you may just have to hire Mike McCarthy.
Unfortunately, because it is well known that our ownership and high up brass are completely incompetent and will screw absolutely everything up. And Cam Ward, instead of getting a rookie extension, is going to ask for a trade to get out of there because it's just an abysmal place to be. Abysmal.
Yeah. It's not great. You should switch back.
I'll
be honest with you. As a kid, you probably had it right. Alabama and Chicago.
I did, and then I wanted to root for the local team. Went to school at Mississippi State, and it's been downhill ever since.
I'm gonna tell you what, if it wasn't for college baseball, Rusty would just jump off of a bridge somewhere, because Ole Miss just continues to Michael Irvin, Mississippi State, and everything that's not baseball.
I mean, I would have, if it, like, I told y'all this yesterday. I saw a reel yesterday morning where some guy was yelling at Duty Noble and said, "Save me. We suck at everything else." And it's like, I feel that. I feel that.
The NIL era has done very bad things to Mississippi State.
And the worst part, and like, I'm not trying to but Zach Selman said there's going to be a major announcement at the Ole Miss game. And like, I've been sitting on this for a while, and my team has told me that we can't announce anything. And this, like, I just wait till the game. It's going to be great. And we're retiring Eric Dampier's jersey. Like, that was the announcement.
It's like, we are getting a new Raising Cane's in the hump.
It could have been anything, but it was the great announcement.
A big donation. That's what the big unveilings are in this day and time, is a
$10
million gift,
from Sanderson Farm Chicken or whoever, like whatever. But like, instead, we're retiring Eric Dampier's jersey. Everybody excited. Like, that is the perfect microcosm of Mississippi State in the NIL area. Instead of celebrating the things that matter, we're celebrating a jersey retirement. Some big announcement.
You're celebrating the glory days, which in football was 2014, and in basketball was 98 or was 96. And
96. 98 was the SEC championship run, which is still one more SEC championship game than Ole Miss has played in. But that's the last time we were really relevant in the conference.
Oh, you're talking about football. Yeah, the conference championship game doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
And you lost. So
we lost to Tennessee. But anyway, listen, I'm done talking about
it's the only time I would have ever sang Rocky Top, although I wasn't even aware enough. Nor were you.
No. Still not. Yeah. But that's going to do it for your Monday edition of the $2 Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, and my guy, Drew Gann, here live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. Thank you to the comments you are popping off today, helping us drive this show. We're unique here in the Memphis market that we interact with y'all in our comments in every single show that's live. So y'all come hang out with us, spend your lunch break with us. Luke in the morning, Sane at 1 o'clock. Let us know what your thoughts on the Grizzlies are, our wild, outlandish takes. And hang out with us. We enjoy hanging out with our friends in the comments section. But that's going to do it for us today. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Have a good Monday, everybody. We'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.